Okay, this is May the 25th, Wednesday. People have been asking me how I'm doing, so that's basically what this is all about. And the answer to that right now is I'm doing good. I'm feeling 100% physically, and I would say pretty close to 100% mentally. I'm doing this video from my garage weight room, which I spent a lot of time in here, and I think some of the things I'm going to talk about have to do with what I've learned over the years. It's good. I had some bad news. I think it was April 30th. Anyway, by May the 3rd, I had a procedure where they go in and have a look. They don't open you up. They just stick a tube down your throat and in your stomach and whatever. During that time, the doctor put a stent in my bile duct that goes into the duodenum, and so 48 hours after that, May the 5th, I'm feeling not sick, 100%, and at that stage, I was feeling good. Unfortunately, by May the 7th, he'd done what they call brushings, and so they give that to the pathologists, and two independent ones said, it's an adenocarcinoma. And so, all along, being a pharmacist, cancer was always right from the get-go, right from me just leaving the house. I knew that was possibly there. You hope for things that it's not, but it is. And so we're at that stage, and then there's a whole bunch of tests, to give the doctors information about how they're going to develop a plan. So the last of the tests was finished last Friday, and it was a PET scan, and that's where they inject radioactive sugar into your system, and then they do their fancy scan, and wherever it lights up, that's tissue that is using a lot of sugar. Obviously they're dividing faster, and so that that would be bad. So I don't know any of the results of these tests. I find out this Friday when I go see the surgeon. So I mean, there's some possible optimism here. It's small. They said it was ½ an inch, and the initial scan, the doctor, which was a CAT scan in the hospital, and that was way back. And she said, well, it doesn't appear that it's in your lymph glands, so again, that's a good thing. What have I been doing in the meantime? Cancer, it leaves you with the feeling of powerlessness. So to try and get back power, I have to come up with my own plan. And so I'm not feeling any pain. I'm feeling the same as I always did, and so why not just carry on? Because worrying about something that's down the road, whether it's going to happen or not, it's like Mark Twain said, that he spent a lot of his life worrying about stuff that almost never ever came to fruition. I'm not saying that's going to be this case, but in any case, I just carried out doing the normal stuff that I enjoy. I kind of live the life of Riley. Just do whatever I want when I want. So it was like photographing I did the women's sevens rugby, and I wasn't unplugged, and so I was feeling pretty rough. But you know, I thought, oh, I can do it for part of the days, and yeah, it made me feel good. It feels good to get out. And so, you know, in the meantime, this past weekend I did the Highland Games and stuff. It's been a long time since I've done that. I garden, you know, mow the lawn, all the regular stuff. I will say, part of the plan was to laugh, you know, and that seems like kind of incongruent with my situation, but you know, again, that feels good. I mean, I've been watching a lot of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and the other night I said, Pam, I got to stop watching. I said, I'm hurting myself. It's like, it's hurting. It's like, you know, got to stop. You know, I'm laughing so hard, it's hurting. And so, that's good. Don't get me wrong, this isn't funny, but you know, like I just think that, you know, I could be wasting a lot of my time by feeling sorry for myself, or, you know, it's just, and you know, and you know, it's been hard on people. Myself included, but you know, you just find a way, and so you know, I have some control over now, you know, and so by how I react to the situation, and you know, I miss out on a lot of stuff. And you run into some interesting people, you know, at the BC Cancer Clinic. You know, while I was waiting to get my scan, we came across Larry. I had gone in for my scan, and Larry was there. Pam was talking to Larry and helping Larry fill out a form. And Larry is 91, and he drove down from Up Island by himself. You know, he would have had to leave like really early in the morning. And Larry says to Pam, he says, "Oh, your husband, you know, he's really young. I hope he's going to be all right." And you know, Larry was dealing with his own issues, and yet, you know, he's asking about me. So I guess the important thing is that, you know, it's all about context. And, you know, if any of this would have happened when I was 20, 30, 40, 50, I would have been a basket case. Yeah, that would have been not good. Not that any of this is good, but, you know, I've been lucky, you know, like, you know, I've got good supportive family, and you know, when I grew up, my childhood, I lived with Ward and June Cleaver. I don't know if you know Leave It to Beaver, but you know, it's like, hey, that was my mom and dad. You know, they were just the best. And so, you know, it's, I don't feel hard done by or shortchanged. And it's not rationalizing it. I guess I've been lucky. Like, you know, it's like compared to the millions and probably billions of people that have been on this planet, many of them had a far rougher go, and so, you know, I've done a lot of stuff. You forget all the stuff you've done. And, you know, it's like, you kind of want everything. You want it to last as long as possible, but, you know, it's gonna, again, this isn't negative, you know, but, like, I'm kind of a realist, you know. It's like, um, you know, and I'll tell you, I found out a little bit about that, you know, because I had all this information. I'm doing all the stuff I normally do, and, you know, so I headed out to Home Depot to buy some lumber, and you're going down the highway, and suddenly you see, like, very suddenly, you see a bunch of cars, like, putting on the brakes and stuff, you know. And in the intervening seconds, I see a guy picking up a ladder off, you know, and this was a big, wide ladder, you know, like one of those agricultural ladders off the highway. And so, in a split second, you know, lives could be different, you know, and so that can still happen. And so, you know, I've never thought of myself as bulletproof. You know, yeah, I've kind of done the right things and stuff, but, you know, the reality is that it, you know, it matters to some degree, but then again, it doesn't. I'll give you another example. 6 weeks, maybe no, 8 weeks, sort of before all this happened, we had Pam's best girlfriend over for supper. And, you know, like Pam says, there's girlfriends, and then there's your, you know, the really good, you know, girlfriend. And so, you know, we had a great time. And the following weekend, you know, she was going to travel to the interior to see her daughter. And they had a great weekend planned. And, you know, Saturday went great. They went hiking, and the dog was with them, and, you know, just had a great time. And then, you know, Sunday was all planned, and they were going to go skiing at one of the resorts up around Kelowna area. And so they made it as far as the parking lot, and this wonderful woman gets out of the car and literally drops dead. You know, and you know, talk about a shock. Nobody was prepared for that. Again, I'm not trying to be negative, but it's just that's how life works. Well, you know, of course, Pam was just like, you know, like she's beside herself. Kind of, you know, like, why, you know, like I can't believe this is happening. You know? And it was much the same situation in the very start in the emergency room, when, you know, they've done the CAT scan, and this emergency doctor comes into the room, and you know, he said, "Hey, there's a spot there and stuff. Spots aren't good." And she says, "Oh, I'll give you a minute. I'll give you a minute to be alone." But you could tell, even though she's given this bad news all the time, that there was some trepidation, because, and I'm watching this, and I'm thinking, shit, the reaction must be from 0 to 100. You know, like some people just like, well, pretty much like me, I just kind of went, okay, spot. Yeah, it's probably not good, but I don't know at this point. Whereas, you know, other people maybe, you know, just basically go ballistic, you know, maybe even blame her to some degree, you know. And so, anyway, that's life. Anyway, yeah, I think it's one day at a time, basically. You know, all this kind of, you know, this attitude that I have right now, that can change. Hey, it's like, you know, one of the things that you learn in weightlifting is you have to be attuned to what I call the mind-body relationship. And so, throughout my life, yeah, I'd say it's been pretty good, but, you know, there's this constant battle, you know, between the mind and the body, you know. Oftentimes, you know, the mind says do something, and you know the body can't necessarily always respond, and vice versa. You know. Anyway, kind of getting a little off course here, but you know, I'm not going to say it's easy, because you know you read stuff, and I haven't been reading about, you know, prognosis or any of that kind of stuff. You know, it is what it is, and I don't know all the facts, but I'll tell you, you really have to use kind of your mind control. There was an article in the Times Colonist, not an article, sorry, it was a letter to the editor about an article that happened about our medical care system here in BC, and basically the gist of it was that this guy had found, he was a, you know, sort of healthy 70-year-old, and they found cancer back in March or something, and he still hasn't had treatment. So, you know, it's tough enough to battle cancer and all the ramifications, but when you have to when you find that you're battling a system, and I don't mean the people in the system, okay? I'm talking about, I guess I'm talking about politicians, government who controls the finances. Like, it doesn't sit real well with me that the government, you know, has decided to spend $800 million on a new museum. Like, I like museums and stuff, but come on, like, there has to be some, I don't know, all I can think of is for $800 million, you know, you could probably go down to the U.S. and basically buy a bunch of surgeons, you know, which we need, you know, buy nurses, whatever, and that's what you have to do these days. You have to have some incentive. You know, I never much used the system, you know, because I kept myself healthy, and that's not, you know, it's like that was kind of the luck of the genetics and all that stuff. I know some people just have it rough that way and stuff, but you know, I always figured that when I needed it, it would be there for me, and you know, I'm not sure if it's there for me. I'm just not. We'll see. We'll see how long it takes for the surgery to happen, and all that kind of stuff. But that just puts an extra burden, I think, on people. Yeah, I have a tendency to complain a lot. Anyway, that's it. All's good. Yeah, this hasn't been easy for me to do, but I guess you have to decide whether I'm sincere about what I've been talking about. Anyway, hopefully, the sound works, you know, because I started this, I did about 10 minutes and stuff, and it's like the same story. Oh shit, I didn't have the mic on, you know, so, that's the way things go. Anyway, all's good for now. I'm going to probably go for a walk or something. I think activity has been a godsend. You know, I just can't imagine going through this with not being mobile or being sick. You know, and I know that sounds kind of crazy, you know, but I don't really think of myself as sick. So that's it, folks.